Hey guys, this is BrownBag talking sports here again to talk about the New Orleans Saints. This time around, I'll be recapping our recent game against the Carolina Panthers, which we won 34-31. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, I want to touch on our offensive line for a quick second. Our offensive line was really inconsistent today. Overall, I don't think they played terrible. We only let up 2 sacks the whole game. We did a good job giving Breeze protection, so I think we did good in that aspect, but we got some penalties that were really costly. Three that come to my mind was that one on 3rd and 10 where Eric McCoy false started and it pushed us back to 3rd and 15, and Breeze threw a pick on that drive, so I feel like if we hadn't gone back like 5 additional yards, maybe Breeze wouldn't have thrown such a reckless pass. But yeah, we can't be doing that. The two additional penalties I wanted to bring up as well occurred on the same drive. After Breeze hit Thomas for an 11-yard gain, Eric McCoy committed a holding penalty, which forced us to move back 10 yards. And as if we weren't already in a deep hole, Warford committed a false start penalty, which forced us back 5 yards, which then set up a 1st and 25. We tried our best to get the first down. We even went for it on 4th and 1, but we just couldn't get it. Alvin Kamara got stopped in the backfield, and Carolina forced a turnover on downs. Like I said, the offensive line played a pretty good game. Like, Armstead went out due to an ankle injury. We'll have to get some updates on that. But they played really good even without Armstead. They were giving Breeze some protection. It's just like the discipline just wasn't there at times. Against better teams, we can't be doing this. We just got to keep our heads in the game. We just can't have those penalties. Speaking of penalties, I wanted to address the defense for a little bit because we played really sloppy in this game. We didn't play downright terrible. The rushing defense definitely held it down. We held McCaffrey to 64 yards off of 22 carries. He still got in for a rushing touchdown, and he was pretty effective for the Panthers in the run game, but he wasn't completely explosive. But again, penalties were really costly. Like, late in the second quarter, we had an opportunity to force Carolina's offense off the field, but Cameron Jordan, he came over. The play was already blown dead, but he hit Kyle Allen well after the refs called the play dead. Like, what the heck was that? I don't get it. Usually that type of stuff happens between the offensive lineman and the defensive lineman because they're the ones holding each other, but that was just so unnecessary. Of course, it was an automatic first down for the Panthers, and instead of forcing the Panthers off the field and giving the offense the ball back with over 3 minutes left in the second quarter, the Panthers drive all the way down and get a touchdown before the end of the half. Thankfully, we didn't give up the 2-point conversion they were trying to go for, but man, that was just so stupid. Like, this lack of discipline is like really frustrating from our defense. Like, that was I just don't get it. Another penalty that stuck out to me in this game, PJ Williams committed pass interference in the end zone. He pushed the Panthers receiver, not like a blatant push, but he kind of shoved him upwards in like an attempt to get in front of him so the ball wouldn't be caught by the Panthers receiver. I guess his momentum just kind of carried him to him, but yeah, you got to play the ball in that situation, man. We just looked like we were panicking in that situation when we really didn't need to do that. You just got to calm down and make a play. Just calm down and bat the ball down. The third penalty I wanted to discuss was the pass interference on C.J. Gardner-Johnson. The refs didn't call any pass interference at the beginning, but the Carolina Panthers challenged it. Ron Rivera threw his challenge flag and challenged that there was pass interference. Yeah, it's kind of funny that one of the very few times the refs overturn a pass interference call, it happened to be against the Saints. But honestly, it was pass interference. I'm not upset with the call. I'm salty that it happened, but I'm not too upset with the call because it was the right call. But the reason I'm so forgiving of this penalty is because if CJ hadn't committed pass interference, that was going to be an easy touchdown. I know it looked really, really bad because it was 3rd and 3. It looked like we were about to force the Panthers to kick a field goal. But honestly, it was a smart play. It didn't look good in the moment, but considering we got the stop and we forced Carolina to have to kick a field goal and they missed the field goal, I'm not too upset about that. So overall, we just shot ourselves in the foot so many times. This game really didn't have to go the way it did. We really could have shut them down nearing the end of the first half. You can't give teams new life. You can't give teams second chances, especially on 3rd down. But to focus on some good that the defense did, like I said before, we did do a decent job stopping Christian McCaffrey from being explosive. Like I had mentioned already with that CJ Gardner play, if he doesn't commit that pass interference, the Panthers receiver most likely gets in the end zone. And even when he committed that pass interference, the defense stepped up. Davenport came through with a huge sack on 3rd down. And Davenport also came through jumping over the center and forcing Joe Sly to kick right instead of kicking straight through the goalposts. A lot of people are going to clown Joe Sly for missing a 28-yard field goal, but to be honest, if he had kicked it straight, he most likely gets that blocked. Will Lutz did the same thing later in the game. The Panthers rushed towards the center of the offensive line, so Will had to kind of kick it outwards toward the right, and it worked out better for him. But he did miss like 2 extra points earlier in the game, so I mean, I can't stick up for him there. But to be honest, that was just a really good defensive play. Well, it was technically special teams, but Davenport is usually on defense, so yeah, I'm just gonna count that as defensive. But yeah, it was just a really good defensive play from Davenport, forcing Joe Sly to kick it to the side. And I have to say, the defense didn't play a great game, but they played well enough to give the offense a chance to get the win. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on the offensive line and the defense, because those were where most of the penalties were coming from. Going into Atlanta this upcoming Thursday, we got to have that discipline. It's just essential to a win. We survived today, but we need to dominate. We need to give ourselves a chance to dominate at the very least. To get into the offense, first off, starting with Breeze. Breeze had a great game. He didn't have a perfect game. That interception he threw at the top of the 4th quarter, that was a little reckless of a ball. To be honest, Traquan Smith, it's a shame I'm not going to be able to get a good close-up on this, but when they were showing the replay while I was watching the game, Traquan Smith could have caught that ball. But yeah, that was a bit reckless by Breeze. You can't do that. You gotta just be smart with the ball. There was a pass that Breeze threw it again late in the game on our game-winning drive, where if Breeze connects with Ginn, that's an automatic touchdown. That's a game-sealing touchdown. But Breeze threw the ball behind Ginn, and it was like so weird because Ginn was like wide open, and from my memory, I don't remember like any significant pressure that would prevent him from throwing an accurate ball like. I'm probably not gonna be able to find any footage or I'm not gonna be able to show any screenshots of that play, but it was really weird. It's honestly an ongoing theme of this game with the Saints. We have opportunities to shut down the Panthers and win this game, but it's like we blow it. Like whether it be penalties or things like that, it's not a good look. That it wasn't a perfect day from Breeze, but let me tell you, Breeze showed up. Breeze showed up today. He showed up to play. Breeze finished 30 for 39. He had 311 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Breeze, he had a day, man. One touchdown pass in particular, Breeze was actually under a lot of pressure. The pocket was closing in, but he stayed in there and he got us a touchdown. And that final drive, man, that was just classic Breeze, man. The way he milked the clock, the way that even though he got sacked on the first play of that drive, he didn't fumble the ball. The way that he just led the team, it was beautiful to watch, and I just have to give props to Breeze because this was a great game from him. That's all I gotta say on Breeze, man. Just great game from him. But to talk about these receivers, man, I mean, Michael Thomas, of course, 10 receptions for 101 yards. He came up big time for us on that final drive, catching a 22-yard pass. Alvin Kamara was pretty capable in the receiving game. He finished with 9 receptions for 48 yards. He came up big time in that final drive, catching well, first he caught it was either a 2 or 1 yard pass from Breeze to get a first down. And then he caught a pass from Breeze to get a huge gain off a screenplay. And that basically put Lutz in guaranteed field goal position. Jared Cook, though, man. Jared Cook he's been really growing in this offense. 6 receptions for 99 yards and a touchdown grab. He showed glimpses of his growth in that Tampa Bay game, but this game, he just went off, man. He just went off. There isn't much to say about the rest of the receiving game. Ted Ginn had 2 receptions for 38 yards. He came up big for us in our opening drive. It was a 3rd and 12, and he helped us convert it. Getting an opening touchdown really helps build up the atmosphere of the crowd. That opening drive touchdown, it really helped us spark things. Ginn didn't score the opening touchdown, but yeah, that 3rd and 12 conversion helped us. Traquan Smith, I already mentioned him. He finished in the end zone, so that's pretty good. But yeah, outside of that, there really wasn't much. So to talk about the rushing, just for a quick second, it was actually kind of surprising because Latavius Murray was leading in the rushing yards when he had less carries than Alvin Kamara. Murray has 7 carries for 64 yards, and Alvin Kamara had 11 carries for 54 yards. Murray was actually having a nice game, but we just kind of ducked away from using him. I don't know. I just want to see more of Latavius Murray because he's showing signs of promise. He's showing effectiveness. He's a real threat, and we just got to use him more. I want to see him used more against Atlanta. But yeah, good day from Latavius Murray. Just wish we could have gave him more carries. It pretty much ends my thoughts on this whole game. Overall, I feel like the Saints we could have shut this game down a lot earlier than we did. We beat ourselves more than the Panthers beat us. Like McCaffrey's a great running back, but he didn't get off today. The penalties the penalties bother me. We got to cut those down. We got to at least cut those in half. 12 penalties for over 100 yards is too much, man. That's just too much. But yeah, overall, We didn't play a perfect game, but not every game's going to be a perfect game. And when a game doesn't go your way, you got to squeak one out. You got to find a way to win. And we found a way to win. To talk about the Panthers for a little bit, because this had to be a tough loss for all the Panthers fans. For any Panthers fan who is watching me right now, this loss has to suck. This loss has to hurt, but you shouldn't be mad at your team. They tried their hardest. I mean, Joe Sly, like, that dude needs to be gone. But Kyle Allen had a great day today. That game he had against the Falcons last week was piss poor. And that San Fran game, we're not even going to talk about that. But yeah, 4 interceptions against the Falcons. That was just awful. But he showed some real promise today. Like I said before, Christian McCaffrey didn't really get off to a huge game today. They had to rely on Kyle Allen to pull them through, and for the most part, he did his job. I was a little disappointed that our defense didn't get as many turnovers, at least as many interceptions, because we did get a fumble. But yeah, I wanted some more interceptions, and I was a little disappointed like immediately after the fact. But the more I thought about it, the more I kind of just let that go because Kyle Allen was smart with the ball, and I can't be too mad at the defense for not getting an interception when the quarterback's just smarter than that. So yeah, props to the Carolina Panthers. That's gonna do it for me. That's gonna do it for all my thoughts on this game. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, BrownBag signing out. Frickin' motorcycles.